it's me, LittleFlame. I want to share with you today how I got my first graphic design job and 2 other methods that might also work for you. These methods can also work in other fields, not just graphic design. So if you are in a place where you are having a hard time finding a job, or you're not able to get into the interview phase, this video might be for you. I assure you, at least one of these you haven't tried yet. I often see on social media that designers and people in general are struggling with finding jobs. So I thought that maybe one of these can help someone out there. And I also wanted to remind you that you're not alone in this. I feel like it just keeps getting harder and harder to find a job nowadays. So the reason for the title, it's because some of these have been tried in desperate times, but they are very realistic methods. They're nothing too crazy. Just make sure to set realistic expectations depending on your situation. So considering that, I will begin with how I got my first job right after college and how long it took me to get it. I will tell you, as a graphic designer, I personally think that you don't need to go to college for graphic design. But in my case, college did push me further into designing. I feel like college sometimes is like the push some people need to dive deeper into the major. Specifically with graphic design, yes, you can self-learn, but in my case, I don't think I would have picked up what I needed if I didn't go to college. I have previous experience with Photoshop before getting into college, which kind of helped speed up the process for me. But I think if you would have asked me then, I would have sworn to you that Photoshop is all you needed to become a graphic designer. I think is not true. I think that you actually do need other programs and you need other experiences outside of just Photoshop itself. So if you are stuck here, if you think that Photoshop is all you need to become a graphic designer, I would suggest to do your research and try to expand a little bit more. At least pick up Illustrator as well. I think if you pick up Illustrator, your doors are going to open a lot more. The job opportunities. Anyways, so right after college, I graduated and I made the mistake in not pursuing any internships during or after my years of college. Big regret. I didn't realize how important that part was. Somehow I thought that I was gonna graduate, get a job, everyone's gonna wanna hire me. I had some savings at the time, so I decided to downgrade to a smaller bedroom in somewhat of a shared house while I was looking for a job. I applied like everyone else on LinkedIn, Indeed, Craigslist, and I brought this up in another video, but I got a job interview that went really well, but I didn't end up getting the job. It was like a situation where I was putting a lot of energy, which resulted into nothing. This, I think, put me in a rough start of job searching. I was constantly applying, constantly getting no response. Also because I was new in my field. It was even harder at the time because a lot of companies in general want to hire someone with a beginner graphic design salary, but they want them to have senior level experience. They want them to know everything, which is not realistic. So 2 months go by and I have nothing. I'm running out of my savings and feeling depressed at this point. I even start to consider other job openings, like working in a grocery store, but I'm in such a tight time frame while losing money, so I decided to take action. And I go to the school's library and I print out 6 copies of my portfolio and resume. With the little money I have, 3 of those physical portfolios and resumes, I mailed them out to job applications that I was really interested in. So if I saw something on Indeed, I really wanted that opportunity, I mailed my resume and portfolio to that address. The other 3, I decided to go walk. I didn't have a car at the time, so I took the bus and I walked to nearby locations, print shops, or small local businesses that I thought that might need my services, and handed my resume and portfolio to them. And this is what actually got me my first job. I walked into a print shop and an older gentleman was there, and I kind of explained to him that I was looking for job opportunities as a graphic designer, and if he needed an extra hand, he could give me a call. I think he was at first a bit surprised, and right off the bat we actually had a conversation that went really well, but I tried to also not get my hopes up, because I didn't want it to be like a scenario where I was excited and then like hurt afterwards because I didn't get like a job. However, I did get a follow-up call, and I was able to finally secure my first job at a print shop. It was not an easy process and not an easy beginning. I would suggest to revisit and kind of really lower your expectations, because like I feel like sometimes you come, like graphic designers, me specifically, I thought I knew everything. I came in like, okay, like I'm a graphic designer, so I'm supposed to do everything, I'm supposed to get paid good. But no, I learned so much every single year. I just learn more. It's constant learning, constant. Some of you might get lucky and find exactly what you're looking for, or also you went the smart route, which is to get an internship, and that kind of led you into a full-time position. But if you are just starting out and you got a part-time or a lower salary than what you expected, that's okay too, because this is your first job. And what the most thing you're gonna get out of this is valuable experiences. Like, you're gonna get so much experience. For example, my first job started off as just a part-time, and I wasn't making that much. It was a long time ago, but I actually remember barely making enough for rent and essential needs. However, I learned so many really valuable lessons, and I actually would like to share these with you because I think that they will help you be a more organized graphic designer. One, and that is to archive emails. So when you're done with an email, you are done with a client, a job is closed, like you guys exchange thank yous, you want to archive that email. And that's like the best thing I've ever learned, because as you grow as a graphic designer, you just get lots of emails, you get a lot of spam, you get a lot of different campaigns. Specifically, if you're a freelancer, this can come really handy. When you are done with a client, archive that job. So when you archive it, it just goes into it. You can still search it, you can still get it back if you search the name, if you search, like, it's still there. It's just not in front of your face all the time in your inbox. I feel like sometimes people get really stressed once they start their day in the morning for work, and that's because they'll open their emails and the first thing they see is just tons of emails, some of them that have been read, and then some of them are new. So you want to kind of filter those out. So the best thing you can do is when you are done with a project, archive it. Trust me, organization. Like, you're gonna start your day like only seeing new emails come in, and that's it. All right, so the second tip, and I know I'm kind of like expanding on this video, but I think these are really helpful. So my second tip is shortcuts. I don't care what type of shortcuts, but if it's whether it's with Adobe or just your laptop, your desktop shortcuts, use those. Those are very helpful. So my first boss, he had a printed sheet of Adobe shortcuts, and I thought it was so lame. I was like, I'm not gonna benefit through these. Like, this is like extra. This is super. It's not extra. It will help you so much. Those clicks will make you a fast, speedy graphic designer. 100% I benefited out of this. Okay, so the last one is actually not related to graphic design, but I learned from my boss also was to eat healthy. I would say that my boss is an almond boss. I don't know if you guys have heard the term almond, but he basically will just start talking to me about health products, comparing like vegetable oil to like avocado oil. So I eventually started to kind of dive into those things and start to pick up on like what can I do to have a better healthy lifestyle. Very random, but I'm just telling you. If you have already tried this out and you went locally to submit your resume, I still have 2 more options for you. Okay, so the second one is one of my favorites. So while you are looking for jobs on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, I suggest instead of applying to the job application directly through those platforms, I suggest you actually search up the company that's offering the job and apply directly through their website. Very often, these companies will have their postings through their site, and the process is very different on how, for example, Indeed handles resumes. So your chances of your portfolio being viewed, in my opinion, is going to be much higher. This method can also be taxing at some times because you're going to have to fill out information over and over again and new information. I would recommend not to skip this part. You can also apply to Indeed as well. So if you found the job on Indeed, apply to Indeed and also apply through the company's website, and you can compare. Okay, so last method is a very creative method. I would like to believe that I came up with it, but this method is actually inspired by working with nonprofit organizations. And after working with nonprofits for a while, I have gotten requests from other nonprofits that they would like to work with me, and I came to realize that if you like working for something with a greater purpose, I would recommend that you search up local nonprofits and also apply there as well. Even if there are no job opportunities in those specific fields, offer your services. Very often I find that nonprofits could really benefit from a example like a graphic designer. Whether it's like part-time or full-time, this might open like a great opportunity for the both of you. And you get to support a greater purpose with your designs. I myself currently work with a nonprofit, and I found that there are a lot of passionate people behind the scenes, and they are very purpose driven. And there you have it. I know this video was long. All of these have worked with me personally. I also would advise you to come in strong with a strong portfolio. If you want to see what mine looks like, I'll place a link for the one that I currently use and have been using since 2019. If you are still watching, I want to say thank you. I hit 1,000 subs this last month, and it's all thanks to you guys. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.